Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
It's another great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show, and I want to welcome each and every one of you to this show. And I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had an issue with taxes? Have you ever had an issue with your taxes and how much you pay in tax? Today, we've got a strategic wealth strategist who's a tax expert, a best-selling author, and someone who's going to give you some wise counsel, not about how to do your taxes, but how to create wealth as a result of how you do your taxes. Ooh, this is going to be good. Ooh, you want to stay tuned, take notes, because this is going to be one you're going to talk about and share with your friends. Well, you know, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds, and it forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it. I didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it. Give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but an eternity is wrapped up in it. My eternity, your eternity, our eternities are wrapped up in that minute, making the most of each and every minute and being grateful. So I start with the minute and I take a moment to talk about gratitude and how grateful I am to God for his giving me another opportunity to be on with you. I'm grateful for 20 years of this show being on and 20 years of me just being blessed by these guests. And as a result, sharing that blessing with those who listen. And I'm just grateful. Grateful that the show is #1 self-help show in the country. Grateful for my speaking, for the books, for all the things that I've been blessed with. So I take a moment of every show to thank God and thank God for life and strength and health. And then I'm grateful for my sponsor, Truist Bank. 2 great banks decided to stop competing and become partners on how to help others. And they said, we're going to start with a new concept. We're going to build this bank on care. And when you start with care, you really do build a different kind of bank. And that's what they've done. Truist Bank. I'm grateful for them. And then last but not least, you know, I take a moment to thank you. Each and every one of you who listens, whether you're listening on the radio or whether you're listening on the podcast, because so many people come up to me and say, my friend told me to listen, or my friend sent me the link for the podcast. You have made this the #1 self-help show in the country. You have made this one of the top 5% of downloads globally. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for all you've done, what you've continued to do. And I just ask that you continue to share it. Share it with people who are in your network. Well, let me tell you about today's show. We talked about taxes and the fact that taxes are something that we all are mindful of and we all are concerned about. And yet most people don't know that there's a way to win in terms of your taxes. And that has been an incredible experience for me to learn more about how we can all win with taxes and how you can win with learning how to make the most of your tax situation and all that happens with it in your daily life. So my guest, his name is Alan Porter. And Alan Porter is an incredible gentleman who has an incredible story. He started his life in the United States Army flying helicopters. He flew helicopters and then he taught people how to fly helicopters. And he became meticulous at helping to teach and to know about helicopters. And then he retired from the Army. He had Black Hawk helicopters at that. This is not your regular, just little helicopter that the average Joe will be flying around. He had the Black Hawk helicopters, and he took that same diligence that he had done with flying helicopters and teaching helicopters and being a student of every part of the helicopter. He took that same concept to a new career. And that new career, the fact that he now teaches people about wealth strategies. And I'm going to let him tell more about his story because it's an intriguing story. Alan Porter, such a pleasure to have you on my show. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm very excited about this.
Well, first of all, you tell the story. You grew up, where did you grow up? And then how did you get even to helicopters and all of that?
Well, I grew up in a small town in Nebraska. We had 1,300 people. My high school sweetheart was from the town 7 miles away. They had 500 people. When I had graduated, I got a notice in the mail. I had a 13 draft number. Vietnam's hot and heavy.
Wow.
And so the recruiter comes up to me. He says, Alan, I got some good news and I got some bad news. I said, well, what's the good news? Because I know the bad news.
Right.
He says, well, I can keep you out of Vietnam. I said, well, how are you going to do that? He says, well, they just brought the 4th Infantry Division back from Vietnam and put them at Fort Carson, Colorado. Well, I'd never been out of the state in my life. And it's only 365 miles from my hometown. So I said, well, okay, that's fine. He said, but you got to go combat arms. I said, what? Because the recruiter would tell you anything at that time, get you in the service. But you got to go combat arms, artillery, armor, or infantry. I said, well, okay, well, put me in armor. I'll be a tank commander. He said, all right. So I'm a year out of high school. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We've been married now for 54 years.
Wow.
We've got 2 children and 5 grandchildren.
Wow.
But I got my basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And all the drill sergeants said that, oh, you're going to be a tank commander. You're going to Fort Knox. Well, no, that's not what the recruiter told me. So I had my one phone call, called my wife. Now understand, a teenager.
Right.
She's married. We're expecting a baby. And she called, I guess she called the senator or congressman and let him know something, because the next day I called up. I got called by the drill sergeant. He said, Porter, I don't know who you know, but you're not going to Fort Knox. You're going to Fort Carson, Colorado. And wow. If it hadn't been for my wife, I would have gone to Fort Knox. But we go to Fort Carson, Colorado for my advanced individual training. I went from a loader, gunner, and then finished up as a tank commander. And we're out in the field for about 30 days. And I hadn't had a shower in 2 weeks, and I was all messy and nasty. And this helicopter comes and lands. And this pilot gets out. He's got his Ray-Ban glasses on, his mustache, his Rolex watch. And I said, man, I want his job. He never goes to the field. Well, man, I was very mistaken, Dr. Willie. I said, I want to go fly. I want to go to flight school. But I had a decision to make. I said, what do I want to do? Command troops, become a captain, major, lieutenant colonel, whatever, or become a warrant officer, a technician in my field where I could track safety, maintenance, or be an instructor pilot. Well, I wanted to be an instructor pilot. And that's what I did. I became an instructor pilot. And I was an instructor pilot in OH-50H, UH-1 Hueys, and last 11 years of Black Hawk, which is an absolute great helicopter. I love flying from a country. I love flying. I have a passion for doing it. And here's the funny thing. While I was in the military, I read one manual. It's the operator's manual for whatever the tank, the helicopter I was flying. I knew every bolt, every nut, every stability augmentation system, every flight path stabilization system. Now, I've had plenty of emergencies.
Yes.
Because I've got over 2,000 hours of night vision goggle time.
Wow.
And I've had all these emergencies, but I got the aircraft down safely without loss of life or equipment.
Yes.
And I'm very proud of that particular statement. But I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing right now. I retired in 1993. I had built a successful real estate and mortgage business up until 2008 when the mortgage crisis hit. Now, Dr. Willie, I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, just outside of Fort Bragg. My son lived in Little Rock, Arkansas with his wife, Lynn, who was 39 at the time, and their two little girls, they were 7 and 4. Well, my son had been disabled for 3 years, and we went out to visit him, 100% disabled.
Wow.
We went to visit him in 2009, and he still was not getting his disability payments. They hired an attorney. They finally got disability payments in the summer of 2010. But there's one day, some people say there's a day that changed their life. This is the day that changed my life. His wife, Lynn, had called me January 5th, 2010, changed my entire life. She said, Alan, I've been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and they've given me 6 months to live.
Wow.
We were devastated.
Yes.
Because now there's no money coming in. I'm helping him out, but I don't know for how long until I have to sell the house and move to an apartment, whatever. I'll do whatever I need to do to protect my family.
Sure. But
I was like 99% of the people out there, Dr. Willie, that thought life insurance was a death product that you had to die to benefit from it. Man, was I mistaken. She happened to have a terminal illness rider on her life insurance policy that let her access the death benefit within 1 year of diagnosis. And that death benefit was hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's completely tax-free. And if it had not been for that, my son would be bankrupt and took a huge financial strain off of me.
Right.
Well, to make this story shorter, she died a year later, and I moved my son back here in another house. But my 7-year-old at that time, last year graduated from North Carolina. She going to medical school this fall, but this summer she got her EMT license. And she was on a call the other day, about 2 months now, and brought this commercial pilot, had a heart attack or something, but he'd been basically dead for like minutes. And the crew brought him back to life. Wow. And then about a week later, now she's in the ambulance and they're going to a call, and she's in the passenger side, and their lights on, the sirens on, and the lights are flashing, and somebody comes barreling through the intersection about 50 miles an hour and broadsides it. Wow. She's okay. Now the guy in the back isn't okay. He's had some problem, but just got a call from her today. She's doing very well now, and I'm very, very proud of what she's accomplished.
So this is your granddaughter.
That's my granddaughter. Yeah, the 7-year-old.
Okay. Now, here's what I want to say to people: that incident or that situation or that experience of that life insurance policy rider gave Alan Porter information that he didn't know before. Absolutely. And just like he had learned every bolt, every nut, every screw on that Black Hawk helicopter and knew how it worked, he said, I want to know how this insurance rider can work for me more after it helped my son and his late wife, but also how it can help others. And that's when he went to work to become an expert in taxes and how insurance can be not just something you take advantage of when you die, but something you can use while you're living, and how you can build wealth. This is the Wealthy Way Show, how you can build wealth through taxes, through insurance, and through knowing how to maximize both. You're going to learn stuff today, folks, that's going to change your future and help you with taxes, help you with your insurance, help you with your life, and help you be able to have some of this tax-free revenues that are possible. We're going to learn great things today. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. And for sure, the best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed
and consistent.
You can call on me
When you need me,
call me. You can call on me.
call me.
You can.
I'm so excited about the response to my new book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. So many have said that the book has had a profound impact on their thinking. I wrote the book to teach others what I have been taught over the last 20 years, interviewing billionaire after billionaire. And most of those billionaires started with nothing. I want to offer you some of the most powerful chapters in the book as a gift. Go to richisgood.wealthyisbetter.com to read the free chapters so you can get on with growing your wealth. Get the free chapters at richisgoodwealthyisbetter.com. Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and support for the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast comes from Truist Bank. When you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. When you become a homeowner, your future starts to feel different. That's power, knowing you could be creating generational wealth to pass down. Truist believes that a path to home ownership exists for you. I hear people say, well, I don't see how I could ever own a home. Truist has programs that could help you buy a home with a lower down payment than you might expect. And their professional guidance helps you build belief that home ownership is within reach. Connect with a Truist teammate to learn about options that are available to you. They will listen to your goals and follow through. Reach them by calling 855-562-1579. Do this for your family and your legacy. That number is 855-562-1579 or visit truist.com/homebuyer. That's truist.com/homebuyer. Certain programs and geographic restrictions may apply. Contact a loan officer for details. Truist Bank is an equal housing lender. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you who are listening. My special guest is Alan Porter. And I'm going to tell you more about him in a moment. But I want to encourage everybody to go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com for resources to help you win more. We have put together this site with lots of different options. We got a lot of different tools and possibilities. We got something for young people. We got something for business. We got something for your entertainment needs. We got something for a faith. We got something if you want to be a speaker. We got something for enhancing marriages. Winwithwillie.com. Winwithwillie.com. As I am telling you about this, I want to tell you about my guest. His name is Alan Porter. Alan Porter is an interesting gentleman because he has been able to do something very incredible. He was a Black Hawk pilot instructor who decided to know everything there was to know about flying that plane and teaching people how to fly that plane. He did that with excellence and incredible gifting. And then he went on to have success in real estate and other ventures, but then he had health challenges that had happened to his family members, pancreatic cancer, breast cancer, and he learned some things about tax-free strategies to help you with your taxes as well as insurance and things that could help you, that it's not just a death benefit, but also a life benefit. He's the host of a national podcast. He is a certified financial fiduciary. He has great experience. He's spoken at Harvard, at West Point, and he's written a number of best-selling books. I want to ask you, Alan, about entrepreneurs. Because entrepreneurs, that they want to make more money, and yet many times they get beat up or they get shackled by taxes. I know some speakers who made a lot of money, but they didn't know how to handle the tax part, and they got in a lot of tax trouble. And so you help people to understand that taxes are something that you can start to have success in. Talk about that, please.
Well, first off, I tell everybody you have to have a plan for everything you do, whether it's a financial plan, whether it's a marriage plan, whether it's a college plan. You've got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you make a plan up and you improve on it every year. But with teaching people about taxes,
yes,
I'll give you a perfect example. Everybody, we're all told to invest in the 401k, correct? For your retirement.
Right.
Well, I got the inventor of the 401k, Ted Beanie, on video saying it's a disaster, it needs to be replaced.
Because
Very
it has changed from where originally, I mean, the world has changed around it and it stayed the same. Is that correct?
basically, yeah, because what happens is you realize this 58% of people don't even think there's a fee on their 401k. All right, 58%. The
Wow.
average fee in a 401k is 2.99%. That's by Forbes magazine and Lap Times. And when people go to retire, they will have less than half of their money. And also, when they retire, they get taxes anywhere from 20 to over 55%. And the average 401k only lasts 5 to 7 years.
Mm.
And the other thing with the 401k and many mutual funds and things like that, they compound the risk in retirement, such as sequence of returns risk. Have you ever heard of that?
Say that again?
Sequence of returns risk?
No, I've never heard of that.
Well, don't feel lonely because 99% of people I talk to haven't either. I've got multimillionaires that've got hundreds of millions of dollars in their stock portfolio, and their fee-based fiduciary has never told them about any of the risk in retirement. But I'll give you a short Reader's Digest version. Let's say you have $1 million in a stock portfolio at a 4% distribution rate.
Right.
Okay. Now that's
Which is
40,000.
4% is what, when you talk about retirement, most people say a conservative amount that you should be expecting is about 4%. If you can get
Right.
4% of your corpus that comes to you, then you should be good. That's what they tell you.
That's what they tell you. It's supposed to be the standard for years. Well, they say that's guaranteed. Well, it's not guaranteed for one thing, but they say, okay, it will last for 30 years, index for inflation at 3%. Well, first off, it's not guaranteed. Okay. That's number one. And sequence returns risk in a nutshell is, let's say you're 65 and go to retire. You got that $1 million in there. You have a 10% loss in the market. So now that $1 million is down to 900,000 minus the $40,000 you took out, minus the fees you pay that fee-based financial advisor, whether you make money or not. And then what happens if 2008 happens again, where we lose 38 to 52%? You're going to be out of money in the fifth year. People have no idea about this, and they're not prepared for it. Basically, what it is, if you have a loss in the market, when you can start to take your money out in the first 2 to 3 years of a 10 or 20-year period, as compared to the last 2 to 3 years of a 10 or 20-year period, you're going to be out of money anywhere from the fifth to the ninth year.
Wow. Now, I read something in your book that said if you got $1 million and you lose in it, like a stock market crash like the 2008, and you lose 50%, but you get 100% return. You have to get 100% return to just get back to ground zero.
Back to even.
To even.
Just get back to even. Yep.
Wow.
That's exactly. People have no idea about that either.
When I did the numbers, when I first read it, I said, "Oh, that's not right." But then I said, "Oh, no, let's see, that is right." You got to get 100% return to get the 50% back that you lost in the process. Now, what you have been helping people to do is to get new thinking about taxes. Am I right? Because there's
absolutely.
Can you create wealth by being able to learn how to make the most of the tax code? Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely. That's what Dr. Willie, what I have a team of people that I call specialists.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And, I'm an expert at certain things.
Right.
But let's say I'm your family doctor. I can treat you for minor illnesses, minor injuries. But if you want your knee operated on, you want an orthopedic surgeon, correct?
Right.
Well, that's what I have on my team. Top tax-specific attorneys and CPAs and other specialists in their fields, and we collaborate to come up with solutions for people's problems. We show people how to reduce, possibly eliminate both debt and taxes, possibly set you up with a tax-free retirement to eliminate or mitigate all the risk in retirement. But we also have tax strategies and tax planning, asset protection, business exit strategies, charitable gifting. You could do it. Did you realize you could give to a charity and get a tax deduction can be 5 to 10 times as much as you gave?
Wow. I didn't know that. I
right
didn't know that because I'm a big giver and I believe in giving and tithing. I have a whole section in my book about the impact that giving can have on wealth creation and tithing can have in growth of your mindset as well as your blessings. So, you talk about the idea of becoming your own bank. That was so illuminating.
Oh, this is one of the greatest financial strategies I've ever done. I've done this for 15 years when I
Wow.
found out how to do it.
Wow.
Now, let's give you an example. Let's say that you got $100,000 in your cash value. You have two piles of money in a cash value life insurance policy, whether it's whole life or index universal life. Let's say you have $100,000 in your cash value. Now, your death benefit may be in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just bought my car. Bought my wife a car. I took $50,000 out of the cash value of her policy. Okay. Now, that cash value, that $100,000 continues to compound. That $50,000 in the account is a lien against the death benefit. You don't even have to pay it back if you don't want to. Now it accrues interest, and it'll just come off the death benefit. But what I'm doing, think about this. When you borrow from yourself and pay yourself back, you compound interest for you and not the financial institutions.
Right.
And what I mean by that, let's say that I got a 0% loan for $50,000, it'd be $1,000 a month. So if I went to a bank and I wrote that bank a check for $1,000 every month, now that $1,000 is going to compound for them.
Right.
But it will never compound for me. Now think about it. That's huge.
Yes.
Not only will I have that $100,000 that continues to compound, I will have $50,000 in checks $1,000 every month compounding in my cash value to increase my death benefit also.
Wow. So one of the things that I was thinking about as I was reading your book is that many times, and you talk about it, that many people have their 401k or they have their retirement account, but they don't know what's in it. They don't know, they have no idea what's in it. And so, or where the money's going, but someone said, this is, we put you in a program, and yet you're saying that you've got to do some research and educate yourself on your money. And that's a learning process. And the fact that anybody and everybody could take the time to do some learning. Am I right?
Absolutely. If you don't, it's going to cost you. It's cost millions of people, trillions of dollars.
Wow. Okay. So what you have talked about for entrepreneurs, high income earners, what are the biggest risks they're overlooking when it comes to protecting and growing their wealth?
Well, number one, the structure. You have to have a proper structure for any business you do, whether it's an LLC, an S corporation, or a sole proprietorship. It could be changed every year. That in itself, a C corporation, that in itself can change tax codes all the time.
Oh, let me stop there for a second, because you've got all those options as an entrepreneur. You can be a C corp, you can be an S corp, you can be an LLC, you can be a sole proprietor, and each one has different tax options that are available to you in tax advantages, and you need to do a little research on them, maybe read up on them so you know, because people call all the time and say, I want to start my company, and they'll say I need an LLC, or they'll see, and they're not quite sure why. They just know they need the taxes. But we've told them, and those who know us, that we've been blessed because we had some wise counsel, some good mentors who told us, you don't need to be a C, you need to be an S, or this or that. And when we got incorporated, there was no such thing as an LLC. We've been incorporated for, I think, about 40 years. Look, we're going to take another quick break for station identification. We're going to come back with more strategies with Alan Porter to help you grow yourself, your wealth, and your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and thought to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that
others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store, get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose.
This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast, and we are grateful for each and every one of you listening. We're talking about taxes and how to make the most of taxes. We're also talking about how to position yourself with insurance, that insurance becomes not just something that you get advantage or take advantage of when you die, which you don't really take advantage of because you dead, but you can have strategies to take advantage of insurance while you're alive and become your own bank. I thought that was intriguing. Before we get to that, though, I want to take a moment to talk about my friends at Truist Bank. Truist has made a commitment to care. And when you start with care, you really do build a different kind of bank. And one of the things they talk about over and over again is mindset. Hey, we want you to have a mindset for wealth. We want to teach you about financial literacy. We want to teach you about how to make the most and take care of the money that you're making and make it grow. And so they have created a program that's absolutely free called Money and Mindset. It has all sorts of resources and tools and calculators and quizzes to help you to grow your thinking in terms of your money. Just like we said in the last segment, that you got to be educated. You got to learn more. And this is something anybody and everybody should and can do. So we want you to go to truist.com/money and mindset. Truist.com/money and mindset. One of the things I'm very grateful for just recently, some of you might have heard my interview with Vicki Brackens, who's a financial planner, and she and I had this interview where we were going back and forth. And she said, Dr. Jolley, I love the fact that you teach people how to grow their thinking, their mindset. I help people to take that new money mindset and execute with their money. And that's what Alan Porter does as well. He takes your mindset and helps you to learn more so you can earn more so you can grow your money. So I want everybody to go to richisgood.wealthyisbetter.com. There's a free excerpt from the book that talks about income, investment, and insurance. Read that excerpt. It's I think chapter 24 from the book. It'll have a great impact on you. Well, my guest is Alan Porter. He's the author of Tax-Free Retirement Solutions, How to Protect Your Wealth from Rising Taxes, as well as a number of other books. He is a certified financial fiduciary, certified tax and business advisor, best-selling author. He's got speaking and podcasts. He's making stuff happen. He's a former Black Hawk pilot and taught people how to fly a Black Hawk. And so I'm glad you're here. Where can people get access to your books and your resources and all the things that you offer? Where can they go?
Well, you can go to Amazon.com. I'm a bestseller on Amazon. I have my book there. I've got another one, Wealth Beyond Taxes there. Call me up, give me your address, and we'll set up a meeting. I'll send you one of my books.
Wow.
It's very, very important.
That's right. What's the website?
My website is www.strategicwealthstrategies.com. Now, this has a plethora of information. I even have a tax calculator there, but you can put your retirement money in that, punch some numbers, and you'll find out how much tax. It'll send you a report how much taxes you're going to owe in retirement. You're going to be very surprised. The other thing, you can always email me at strategicwealth, the number 0 at gmail.com. Now, Dr. Willie, I want people to know this. I do not charge for my consultations.
Wow.
It's all about education, and everybody needs this education, because if they don't, it's going to cost them, not only now, but in the future, not only for them, but for their family and their legacy.
And we talk about legacy, folks. You know, we talk about legacy. We want your money to last 5 generations. And we want to help you to grow your thinking so you can grow your children's thinking, so you can grow their children's thinking. And that's what Alan has done. As he said, he's got 2 children, I believe you said, and 5 grandchildren. And one of those grandchildren now is becoming a doctor. So your strategies have helped them to grow their thinking. And I'm excited about that. Well, you have really gone into great depth. I mean, you're really passionate about this whole thing, about not only taxes, but also insurance and how to make the most of insurance. And, you know, there are stories and there are strategies where people take insurance and buy insurance for children. And I hadn't heard of that before, babies. And then some cultures, they buy the insurance for their seniors. And when that person and the seniors all in, because they know that's a legacy builder. So when they pass away, and I tell everybody, nobody get out of life alive. So we are going to leave here one day, that you're making the most of that, not just to bury you and have a good repast and food at the after the ceremony, but that you are setting up the generation to be able to have some resources to build wealth. Am I right? Talk about that, please, Alan.
Well, you're absolutely right. And the younger you are, the better it is for people getting the insurance, because the cost of insurance is lower, of course.
Right.
But I had a doctor who's a referral to me. He's an oral surgeon, and he had a problem I said, what's your biggest problem? What's your most expense? He said, well, my practice, my wife, my house. I said, no, your biggest expense is taxes. He said, you're absolutely right, Alan. I've got to pay $360,000 in taxes this year.
Wow.
I said, okay, I'm going to consult my team and we'll get together the following week. Well, we did a tax strategy for him that he got I said, ask him, how would you like to get a $250,000 tax deduction this year and for the next 10 years, and then $350,000 after that, because his business was growing? He said, well, that's great, but how do we do it? I said, it's not how I do it. It's how my team does it. So we built a tax strategy for him that we're going to use charitable donation, and a donor advised fund of his choosing. And we're going to take that, and he's going to get a $250,000 deduction, but we're putting units into that donor advised fund. And we're not going to get the whole $250,000 deduction, because we're not putting financial assets into that donor advised fund until he passes away and possibly his wife passes away. All right. So that's a $200,000 tax deduction. He's in the 40% tax bracket. That's $80,000 just in federal. Okay. With that tax deduction, we bought $8 million of cash value life insurance for him, 4 for his wife and 4 for him. Now, this is my first death claim. They had a baby the following year. And about 2 years after that, I kept telling him, you've got to put primary beneficiaries and secondary beneficiaries, contingent beneficiaries in there. And he didn't do it. But the primary, him and his wife were primary for each one of them, but they didn't put the contingency, such as the baby. Well, I got a call from his office. He was murdered.
Wow.
And guess who murdered him?
Not the wife.
Yep.
Wow.
And now the other thing too, people need to understand, you've got to have somebody, just take the normal person, the mother and father, they're 45 years of age and they're going to an event or something. You got 3 or 4 kids at home and they're killed in a car accident. Who's going to take care of them?
Right.
They need to put all that stuff in writing, because if you don't, they have to account for any. I mean, if you have anything wealthy, all that wealth has to be accounted for.
So would a trust help in that effort?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You've got to have a will, and better yet, have a trust.
Say that again, Alan, so people can hear.
Everybody has to have a will, and better yet, a trust. And there's hundreds of different trusts out there. And I call the one that I like, I call it controlling from the grave. Because when I pass away, and multimillionaires, they said, well, I don't want to give my kids all these millions of dollars, and some of them are, addicted to drugs and everything. They'll just go blow it. Well, I said, well, I'm going to do you one better. We'll set this trust up to where you control from the grave. If you want your child to have something, they can have it if they've got a job or if they're in school. If they have a job, I'll match whatever income you make. Anything other, I'm not going to match.
Right.
And that's control. I mean, that's all controlled. But people need to have these. If you don't have a trust or will, it goes into probate.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand what probate is. I got a definition for it. It's a liability that you're going to pay for that you're going to lose. Here's what happens, because you remember Prince the Entertainer that died a few years ago now?
Right.
Well, he didn't have a trust or will. He didn't have an exit plan set up. When he passed away, his estate's worth millions of dollars. His beneficiary will probably only get 20 to 25% of that estate.
Wow.
So the government comes in, confiscates all the assets, sells them to pay the taxes on the estate. And what's really bad about it, attorneys get 6 to 12% of that estate for legal fees.
Wow.
I mean, you can have cash value life insurance. It's the greatest wealth transfer vehicle available.
Say that again. Say that again. Say that again. I want people to hear what you said. Take your time. Say that again. One more time.
Cash value life insurance is the greatest wealth transfer vehicle available today, bar none, that I know of. Because multimillionaires, they don't need life insurance, but they need a wealth transfer vehicle to pay the taxes on their estate so their families can keep the assets that they've worked their entire life to earn.
Wow. I read through the book, and I got so many new illuminations, because there are different strategies depending on your situation. And one of the things you share, you give different perspectives. You say this couple was, they were a certain age and they had this situation, or somebody else, and you give examples of those. And I was impressed with how you continue to say, look, think differently. The old way of thinking is not working. Now, 401k, we still recommend you take full advantage of whatever 401k you have, but there are other new items that are available that was created. When was it created? 40 years ago, maybe?
Oh, yeah. 73.
Okay. Yeah. And so there are new indexed options, and you give a great illumination of them. We want you to make sure you don't poo-poo the option of 401k. We don't want you to do that, but we want you to learn how you can go beyond just base level to get exceptional. Am I right?
You're right, but let me clarify something here. I asked people, I said, why do you contribute to a 401k? They say, well, it's a tax deduction. I said, well, it's a tax compounder.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to pay taxes at the end when the government wants, and they're going to pay it. You're going to pay it at an interest rate that's like writing a blank check to somebody. And now you're going to pay me back 20 years later, but I'm going to tell you the interest rate you're going to pay me back. We have a $39 trillion deficit right now. We have a $217 trillion unfunded liability deficit. And congressional.
You mean in America? You're talking about we as Americans.
Right.
Right.
And the Congressional Budget Office report put out, I think it's 2 years ago, if we don't raise taxes by over 50% by the year 2030, we can't even pay the interest on the debt. The country will go bankrupt.
Right.
But I tell you,
that is some trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. And I like how you say in the book that we are going to have to pay that bill sooner or later. Sooner or later, that bill has to be paid. Look, we got to take another quick break for station identification. We'll be with more coming. I want y'all to stay around. I'll wait for that siren to go by. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show, and for sure, the best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Motivated, highly motivated, gonna take it to the top. Motivated, highly motivated, I'm never gonna stop. I had a job I really hated. It made me sick, but it got me motivated. I knew that this was not where I was meant to be. I didn't want to stay, but I was too afraid to leave. Then one day I got my check, there was almost nothing there. I went to the boss, he laughed and said he didn't care. My kids were at home hungry, I was about to lose my home. That's when I decided I had to make it on my own. Said I gonna take it to the top. said I'd never make it, said I would not survive, but I knew I had to make it. It was either do or die. So I grabbed hold of my dream and I put it in my heart. I stepped out on my faith and learned to really trust it.
Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, here to thank Truist Bank for their sponsorship of the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast. Now, if you're a longtime Wealthy Ways listener, you know I believe that mindset is the key to success, and so does Truist. That's why they've created their incredible resource, Money and Mindset. It's full of tips to help you with your finances and help you with your well-being. You can get articles, quizzes, calculators, and hey, even more podcast information that will bless you, all for free and for anyone to use. Check it out today at truist.com/money and mindset. Truist.com/money and mindset. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care, and Truist Bank is a member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show and podcast with my special guest, Alan Porter. He's a nationally certified financial fiduciary, a certified tax and business advisor. He's the owner, CEO of Strategic Wealth Strategies. He's a best-selling author, former Army helicopter, Black Hawk helicopter pilot, and he's had great success in helping people with their taxes, with the insurance needs, and he has a book called Tax-Free Retirement Solutions. I've got it earmarked. Lots of stories. Long-term care is something you talk about in the book, and my wife and I talk about that quite often. Let's talk about first. Some people might not know what long-term care is and why it's so important. Please talk a little bit about it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, people need to plan for this if they don't. And 70% of all Americans are going to need long-term care at some point in their life. Long-term care right now costs between $50,000 to over $200,000 a year and goes up by 6% every year. 40% of all Americans on long-term care right now, Dr. Willie, are between the ages of 18 and 64.
Wow.
People are not prepared for it. And if you've got, let's say you got a couple $1 million in your stock, in your portfolio, and you go to retire. And this is a perfect example. This couple, they were in their 70s. They had millions of dollars in their portfolio. But the lady came down with Alzheimer's. Now, it's called Medicaid spin down.
Right.
What the government's going to do, they come in, confiscate your assets, and pay for the person in long-term care. The caregiver is going to be left with one car, I think approximately $137,000, small subsistence allowance, and one house. They had millions of dollars. Right. But I mean, I know this for a fact. I'm 73. My brother's 76. I had to put him in a nursing home a couple of years ago. The State Patrol called his daughter up back in Nebraska, where we're from, and he said, "You need to come pick your father up. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's very confused." She went and got him. They picked him up going down the interstate in the wrong direction. He could have killed somebody and somebody else. And now he's in hospice.
Wow.
If he lives through the summer, I'll be very surprised.
Wow.
But Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, they're such terrible diseases.
Right.
And people are not prepared for it.
Right. So I'm going through just point by point. There's so many good points in this book. Well, again, before we go any further, where can people access you, get access to the books, get access to your strategies? Please.
Well, I mean, they can go to Amazon.com. That particular book is a bestseller on Amazon. And I also have a book out there. It's called Wealth Beyond Taxes. But people can call me. Dr. Willie, I do not charge for my consultation fees. Okay.
Wow.
It's all about education. They can call me at 910-551-1046. Email me at strategicwealth0@gmail.com, or go to my website. I've got a plethora of information. In fact, I've even got a calculator on there that will tell you how much your taxes are going to be in retirement with whatever numbers you put in. It'll send you a report. But that is www.strategicwealthstrategies.com. And I've got a YouTube channel there, and on the YouTube stations, I have over 500 videos. Some of them are 26 seconds long. Some are 18 minutes long. But the thing is, they're all educational. And people need to know this education because that makes a difference not only in their lives, but their children's lives and their grandchildren's lives and the legacy.
What does financial freedom mean to you?
Well, financial freedom means to me that I can wake up in the morning and I don't have to worry about a thing for myself, for my kids, for my grandkids, for the charities I support, the churches I support. I can all do it, and I don't have to worry about anything. The money is there. The taxes are paid on because
Wow.
everybody has to pay taxes. I understand that.
Yes.
But you don't have to pay them all because
Right.
there's tax strategies out there that can mitigate it.
All right.
You know, I got one client that he's a dentist. He's 51 years of age. He sold his practice, and we're getting. Last year we just tax strategy for him. He's getting back $2,280,000 in taxes he's paid the last 3 years.
He's getting it back.
He's getting him back.
The tax he already paid.
The tax he only paid.
Wow. Wow.
And on top of that, he had $1.4 million in his qualified plans, his 401k. Now he's 51.
Yeah.
We're paying all the taxes and penalties on that, turning it into cash value life insurance. That's now worth tens of millions of dollars more tax-free money that eliminate or mitigate the risk in retirement.
Wow.
This is not just for beneficiaries. This is legacy building income when managed properly.
Wow. 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 It's a lot of just so much mind-boggling information, and we learn about wealth. One of the things I've been telling people, you can get rich on accident. You can get rich on accident. But wealth is a conscious decision. And the more you learn, the more you can earn, because you learn how to make the money work for you and not you work just for it. Second, you learn how to make and take advantage of all the opportunities that are available with taxes. I wrote in my book, The Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better book, that someone said that taxes were created for owners. The whole tax code was created to benefit owners. People who own, they have all sorts of write-offs that they can write off. They can write off their car. Maybe they can write off their home if they use part of their home. They got all sorts of options because it was created to benefit people who owned. And so you have really gone into depth to say in the book how important it is to understand insurance and the intricacies of insurance, as well as how to make the most of taxes. I want to jump on one question because I don't want to lose this. If you were coming to town, Alan, and you spoke, and then we went to lunch, and we went to a university, American University, Georgetown, Howard, whatever. We went to a university, to a class of young wannabe entrepreneurs, business people. What is a couple or few you got us to be successful in business and life that you would tell your children or your grandchildren?
Well, first off, you've got to have protection for your family. That protection comes from insurance.
Okay.
Whether it's term insurance, all insurance is great because it protects the family.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, how to get your money tax-free or pay the least amount of tax you possibly can.
Yes.
And number four, it's not, when you go to retire, it's not about accumulation or distribute. I mean, it's about distribution of your assets. It's not about accumulation.
Mm-hmm.
And number five, it's not how much money you have, it's how much money you have after taxes.
How much money you have after taxes. And you just made me think of something. Insurance, you should not wait till you're married to get it, should you? You should get it.
No. The younger you get, the better you get, because it lowers the cost of insurance. And it's all tax-free through IRA code 7702 and 70E. And it's been around for decades.
And most people don't know it.
I understand, Dr. Willie. Insurance companies have been around for hundreds of years. They're the only financial institution that paid dividends during the Great Depression.
Wow. One more thing you wrote about. You said banks take your money. Now they loan it out at a higher interest rate than they pay you. That's one thing. But then they buy insurance.
Oh, yeah.
I never heard of such.
You can go to FDIC.gov or .com and come up with every major asset of every major bank in the United States, and you'll find cash value life insurance as their top tier one asset. It's usually more than twice as much as real estate, or many times more than the stock portfolio.
Wow.
One of the things I teach people when they about insurance, I said, well, I've been, Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, also, what's a bad investment? Well, first off, it's not an investment. It's in an asset class all of its own. There's no other financial product that can produce the benefits and the protection that properly constructed. It's got to be properly constructed. That's absolutely huge. Cash value life insurance, whether it's whole life or index universal life.
Wow.
And, when I tell people, I said, I've got strategies that we can increase the turbocharge your life insurance policy. Particularly an example. Let's say you have $300,000. You can't put all $300,000 into the insurance policy at once. It becomes a modified endowment contract, and you lose all your tax advantages.
Mm-hmm.
Say we put it over a 3-year period, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. Now, wouldn't it take 100,000 from your cash value, borrow it, and put it right back into the life insurance policy as your fourth premium? And you keep doing that for year after year after year. Now, you have to pay interest on that, but the interest is usually anywhere from 4.5% to 5%. But we're going to take that money through my team, and we're going to put it into investments that are making anywhere from 6.5% to 12.5% in conservative investments in dividends that have been doing this for dozens of years. And there's another way we do it too. It's even greater, but that's an entirely different discussion. But think about this. Let's say you only made 8% on your dividend. You're paying 5%. You're making a 3% arbitrage. The banks do it every day. You put $100,000 in a savings account, they pay you 1%. They go loan it out for mortgages at 5%, cars 10%, credit cards for 30%.
Right. So they're making money on your money. Alan Porter, you are a wealth of knowledge. Well, thank you for being my guest, my friend. And I again encourage people to reach out to him at strategicwealthstrategies.com. Am I right?
Correct.
All right. Folks, I want to thank Alan Porter. I want to thank all of you for listening. Get and take advantage of all the options that are available to you. Learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. I want to encourage everybody to go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com, for resources to help you win more. I want you to go to Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. Rich is good, wealthy is better.com, and get copies of this new book. Book has 2 focus areas. Number 1, to help people who want to be wealthy and don't quite know how to get there. With all the lessons I've learned over these 20 years interviewing billionaire after billionaire, what I've learned, I share in the book. Number 2, though, is all the people who've worked hard, sacrificed, scrimped, saved to create a nest egg, but they're concerned that their children will not be able to maintain it. And they want to make sure their children don't squander their hard-earned wealth. This is the book for you. And finally, join us on Monday nights for the Jolley Marriage Show on A Jolley Marriage on Facebook, The Real Willie Jolley on Instagram, and Willie Jolley on LinkedIn Live. And you can see the replays on the Jolley Marriage Show on YouTube. Thank y'all for your time. Have a great day. And remember, for sure, your best is yet to come. Have a great day. God bless you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now,
I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire, williejolly.com/billionaire, or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.